Welcome to highlights of stage 2 of the Giro d'Italia, still in Bulgaria, starting in Burgas, all the way to Veliko Tarnovo, 221 kilometres, making it the second longest stage of this year's race, 2,348 metres of elevation. There's the profile. The sprint leading into 2 back-to-back climbs, nothing overly steep, then a real sting in the tail with the steep ascent of the Lajskovets Monastery Pass before the plunge down and then kick up into the finish in beautiful Veliko Tarnovo. There was to be a lot of expected skirmishes. They didn't actually pan out. Only 2 riders managed to attack, or tried to attack, should I say, and ultimately went clear. The familiar faces of Mirko Maestri and Diego Pablo Sevilla, both representing Team Polti Visit Malta, went clear and soon opened up a lead. Many people had expected a far harder start, but ultimately it was just 2 riders out in front. And unsurprisingly, with that gentle headwind, their lead soon ballooned, but only one team doing the chasing, NSN Cycling, and their man, Ryan Mullen, doing the chasing on the front. Through the first intermediate sprint, it was the man in the blue jersey, Diego Pablo Sevilla, who took maximum points. But sprinting for third, with points on offer for the Maglia Ciclamino, another strong sprint from Paul Magnier, the man in the pink jersey, taking points just ahead of one of his main rivals for the Maglia Ciclamino. Then on to the first big climb of the day, the Bayala Pass. The rain started to fall, and at this point the lead had come down to 2 minutes and 55 seconds, but a good job had been done by the Team Polti Visit Malta duo, with Diego Pablo Sevilla adding another 9 points to his haul. A fight for position ensued over the top of the climb. The wet descent meaning all the big GC teams wanted to make sure that their GC leaders were in prime position. One rider that was struggling though, amongst others, was Arnaud Delis. Illness on the approach to the Giro d'Italia meant it was a little bit empty and a little bit weak over the top of the climb, but thankfully he regained the relative safety of the peloton with 73 Ks still to ride. The rain fell again, and still the solitary figure of Ryan Mullen on the front. It really was pouring down, making the roads exceptionally slippy. Out in front though, despite scoring points on both of the King of the Mountains, undeterred, Maestri and Sevilla continued alone until, with 27 Ks to go, they congratulated each other on a job well done, and they were taken back by the peloton. Then with 23 kilometres still to go on a meandering right-hander on slippery roads, there was a catastrophic crash taking down about 20 riders. Many significant fallers of GC contenders. There's the list: Zambanini, Baies, Buitrago, Corbin Strong, Derek G, Antonio Morgado. Also down were Jay Vine and Marc Soler of UAE Team Emirates. Both were to leave the race, unfortunately, and there was no surprise that the race at this point was temporarily neutralised. With just over 18 Ks to go, the race restarted, and they were soon on to the Red Bull kilometre. It was the squad of Netcompany Ineos who were leading. Meanwhile, chase behind from Corbin Strong, but unfortunately the New Zealander wasn't to make it back. But Egan Bernal, the former champion of the Giro d'Italia, taking a valuable 6-second time bonus at the Red Bull sprint. Coming on to the final climb of the Lajskovets Monastery Pass, it was David Peganzoli of Team Visma Lease Bike setting a ferocious tempo for his team leader and hot race favourite Jonas Vingegaard. Meanwhile though, it was going to be a bridge too far for Paul Magnier. A wonderful day in the pink jersey, but the jersey was ultimately going to change hands. The big question was who to. So day in pink for Magnier, but up front the action continued. Through the billowing pink smoke, Jonas Vingegaard stamped on the pedals, closely followed by a flotilla of riders, including Jan Christian of UAE Team Emirates. A couple of glances round from the Dane, and he accelerated again, really stamping his authority on this race, only on stage Q2. Christian couldn't follow, and then it was Giulio Pellizzari of Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe who shut the gap along with Lennart van Etvelt, and over the top taking maximum points, Vingegaard, and splits behind. The pace set by the Dane, ferocious, and look at the state of the peloton, torn asunder under the pressure from Jonas Vingegaard. He found 2 willing compatriots, both Lennart van Etvelt and Giulio Pellizzari, happy to ride together with just over 8 kilometres to go, but a group of about 25 riders had formed behind. and they kept them at about 18 to 20 seconds. Coming into the finale with 1,800 metres to go, Giulia Pellizzari piling on the pressure in front, but the gap was narrowing. And with just over a kilometre to go, it was Jan Christian who managed to accelerate across to the group, with the big group just behind. Coming into the last 500 metres, it was going to be a spectacular finale. Lennart van Etvelt from the break that was caught, tried to go clear, but then it was XDS Astana who really started to wind things up. Christian Scaroni leading out his teammate Guillermo Thomas Silva to an absolutely sensational win. What a victory for the man from Astana, the Uruguayan taking his first World Tour win in a Grand Tour. And look at what that means to him. Celebrations behind from Scaroni, and that win was to move him in to the lead of the race. Disbelief writ large on his face. So Guillermo Thomas Silva taking the win ahead of Florian Stolk and Giulia Ciccone. Following just behind them, Scaroni, Pellizzari, Sobrero, Leknesson, Christian Viotta and Matthias Rondell rounding out the top 10. The 24-year-old rewarded not just with the stage win, but moving in to the iconic Maglia Rosa. What a day for XDS Astana. What a day for Uruguay. So confirmation of the GC at the end of stage 2. Guillermo Thomas Silva of Astana leading Florian Stolk by 4 seconds on the same time as Egan Bernal. Then Arensman, Ciccone, Christian Kulset, Van Etvelt, Ciotta and Rafferty rounding out the top 10. Many riders shipping a lot of time, and several riders also unfortunately leaving the race. A difficult day for many, including Adam Yates, one of the big pre-race favourites, battered and bruised but still riding.
I think everybody knows somebody gonna crash with this pavement. Yeah, and the bad luck was to us.
What happened from your perspective, from where you were sitting? What exactly happened in the crash?
Yeah, the road is completely slippery. It's like everybody knows, so this is why the big fight. And we go outside of the corner and we crash.
I don't know, I think guys just panicked and pulled the front brake and yeah, washed out. There was no reason for us to be crashing there. So yeah, I think guys just making stupid mistakes.
Unfortunately, several riders out of the race, but moving on to stage 3 then. Starting in Plovdiv, ending up in Sofia. 1,577 metres of elevation over the 175 Ks and a massive climb midway through, taking us to the highest point of the race so far, 1,300 metres. That's the Borovets Pass. It's an interesting profile. A day certainly for the sprinters, but a day not without its difficulty, and that straight long run into Sofia. Do not miss it.